Before we start today's mailbag, I have an announcement to make. This upcoming Friday, May 23rd, will be my last day hosting the Cleveland Browns Report and working for Chat Sports as I have decided to make a career change. I'll have kind of more information on that as we get closer to May 23rd, but I didn't want people to be blindsided that day. It was a very difficult decision to make, in large part because of all of you guys, the viewers, who have been so, supportive and just frankly outstanding since I've taken over this channel 4 years ago now. But this Friday now at this point, will be my last day. So very bittersweet, but we'll kind of update you guys more on that as we get closer to that day. But let's get into our mailbag now, starting with Joshua Miller. Is JOK's contract insured similar to Deshaun Watson's? So I'm not an expert when it comes to contracts for injuries like this. I doubt it's insured just because it wasn't that big of a contract. Although JOK would be a good person to insure the contract of, just because of his injury history the first few years of his career. There will be some level of cap relief the Browns do gain because of JOK missing all of 2025. I don't know the number, but I do know that there is a number. I just don't know it. So, Josh, thank you so much for your super chat. Your question. Iggy, Browns going 4-13 realistically. Can we look at the Browns' 18 games? I feel like the funny thing about schedule release day is we've known the opponents this whole time, but once we see it on the schedule, it's like for the first time ever, people realize, oh, we're playing in New England? I had no idea. It's like, we know the opponents in January, but there is something magical about knowing when. We knew the who, we knew the where, but it's all about the when. All right, so run through it real quick here. This is a tough stretch right here. They could easily fall. 3 playoff teams in your first 4 weeks. They could easily go 0-4 if we're being realistic. Then they play the Vikings in London. Vikings were great last year, and they play in Dublin in week 4. So big advantage to Kevin O'Connell and company. You come back from London, you immediately go to Pittsburgh. That stinks right there, right? Then you have a bye in week 9. It is a very difficult schedule. Despite finishing last in the AFC North a year ago, you always know that the division games are going to be tough. And then on top of that, just the way the cookie crumbled this year with the other divisions that you played, not an easy slate. Not an easy slate at all. So I have them down for 6 wins, but 4 does not seem out of, reach here. Iggy, thank you so much for your participation in our mailbag. Ryan, what was your favorite video/live show you did? Ryan, that's a great question. Let's answer this question at the end of the mailbag because I want to have a few minutes to think about it because I don't want to just rush to one answer right now. Ryan, appreciate it. I like where your head's at, though. Thank you so much. Moving on to our next question coming in from Ray. I think we are banking on these rookies. Unless they are great, we are a top 5 pick next year. It might be the plan. They could be great, and you could be picking top 5 next year. Mason Graham is not going to be the guy that has like a war of 4 or 5 wins. You know what I mean? Like, Myles Garrett was terrific last year, and they won 3 games. Mason Graham is not going to come in there and be the thing that puts it all together in year 1. So, Graham could be awesome. Judkins could rush for 1,000 yards. Schlesinger can get 100 tackles, and they could win 5 games. And I would look at that as like not, mind-blowing, not confusing as to how those things all happened, but also not be discouraged about the future for this team. It's a young team in terms of the snaps a lot of these rookies are going to get at key positions. I feel like if I had to bet right now, the Browns are closer to picking 5th next year than 15th. Joshua Miller. Injuries aside, odds that we'll see Cam Ward versus Shedeur Sanders week 14. Low. Week 14 is late enough where like they could easily bench Flacco by that point, or maybe he's injured. He's 40. I don't know how to give you a percentage. I'm not going to bet on it, though. If it was even money, I'd bet against it than on it. Josh, thank you so much for your question. We've got another one coming in just a moment here. Ty Man the Buckeye. And then we'll tell everyone about our friends over at Fanatics. Can we beat the Steelers both times this season? We're filming this on Thursday, May 15th during our live show this week. And I don't know who Pittsburgh's week 1 quarterback will be. If Aaron Rodgers decides to retire, absolutely. There's no reason why Myles Garrett can't beat Mason Rudolph on the field, on the scoreboard. But if it's Aaron Rodgers, twice, well, Rodgers was actually, I think, better last year than even I gave him credit for because he was working in a horrible Jets offense, and his numbers, the last half of the season were actually pretty decent. I'm not going to bet on the series sweep for the Browns this year. That feels like something that they put together in 2 or 3 years. I think they are still in the process of cooping and regathering themselves after that 3-win season a year ago. Ty Man, thank you so much for your question. All right, speaking of Shedeur Sanders from a moment ago, if you want to get a Shedeur jersey or a Quinshon Judkins jersey or a Mason Graham jersey, a Carson Swessinger jersey, go to chatsports.com/CLE rookies. I put this link in the comments and description of today's video. It's a great way to support the channel, and you get a Browns rookie jersey of your choice. So use this link if you want to get some new Browns gear in your closet before week 1. Ray, who scores points on this team? I hope Jerry Jeudy takes a bigger leap forward in this category. Last year, I think he only had 4 touchdowns, one of which came in against the Cowboys week 1. And then he scored, I think, 2 times against the Broncos in that, awesome performance of his. So there was a huge gap between week 1 and then when they played in Denver in like week 11 or 12, where he never scored. So I would like to see Jeudy in the end zone more this year. I'd like to see 8 to 9 touchdowns from number 3 in 2025. Ray, thank you so much for your question. LA, my only jersey I have is a Chubb jersey. Thinking of getting a new one for the Vikings game in London. I'm torn on who to get on the back. Who would you recommend? First off, you came to the right place because I love talking jerseys. I love getting what I call second jersey guys. You're going to see Myles Garrett jerseys. You typically see a lot of quarterback jerseys. Those are casuals, right? Not the worst thing in the world, but if you want everyone else around you to know that you are a diehard fan and not a surface level fan, I would recommend like a Denzel Ward. Now he's getting up in the age column. He's approaching 30, so I can't guarantee he's going to be here for a super duper long time. For the rookies, I'd love a Quinshon Judkins jersey. If you're an Ohio State fan too, that goes well together. I think Jeudy could be a fun jersey too. I also think that whatever number you like yourself should factor into the jersey choice. If you hate, number 12, then don't get a Shedeur jersey because you're not going to want to wear a jersey where you feel like, oh, I don't even like the number on my own jersey. Njoku could be cool as well, but he's got 1 year left on his deal, so I would, caution you against that. Tim, if Cleveland has another 3 or 4 win season, any coach is getting walking papers. You go back-to-back 3-win seasons and not impossible. I think a lot of it could boil down to how do the Browns look, right? Are they losing a bunch of close games because whoever their quarterback is throws an interception at the end of the game? And it's like, man, Stefanski is getting the most out of his players. He just does not have the guy at quarterback, which that was expected going into this year. So we're not going to can him because no other coach in this situation would have fared much better. Whereas if they're losing by 30 and they win 3 games, you could look at that as, hey, talent or no talent, you weren't even competitive in 10 of those 13 losses. We were constantly on the wrong end of, covering machine. So I can't say definitively 3 wins, you're fired, because if they're competitive in 3 wins and they are picking early in the draft and there's a quarterback that they love and that's going to be available to them most likely, Jimmy Haslam might go, hey, let's finally get Kevin Stefanski the right quarterback because we know he's a good coach. We've seen that before. We've seen success. He's made it to the playoffs 2 times. I'm going to take accountability for the last 2 years being a disaster because I wanted to go get Deshaun Watson. So I'm not going to fire Stefanski because of the decision I made to give up a lot of picks for Watson, which ended up biting the team in the ass later on. Dylan, no, it won't be the same without you, but I wish you luck with whatever you're doing next. Dylan, thank you so much. I'm going to miss picking cards with your name on it, buddy. But I really appreciate your kind words, and I'll give an update on what that next chapter looks like for me closer to Friday. Josh, and then we had, I think, Ryan's too. Best memories from your 4 years with us. What was your favorite video/live show? God, that's tough. I did college with you guys. I started this job in August of 2020, or July of 2021. And, I'll walk away in May of 2025. I did college, started in the fall and in the spring. I don't know how I can pick just one. Going through the live shows, I mean, that's kind of the easy one to go with off the top of my head. I'll toss out one that I won't call as a favorite, but definitely one that I'll remember. Week 2 against the Jets. This was my first year doing watch parties. And I crowned the Browns champions that day. Up 13 with 2 minutes to go. And then Joe Flacco happened. That is one that when people talk to me in a few years, hey, what was your last job? And I explain it, and they're like, huh? And I go, all right, let me just give you a visual. That will be one that comes to mind. But not for the right reasons, but it was definitely memorable for sure. So I will definitely remember the Jets-Browns Week 2 game when I was like, the Browns, I declared them victors. I did a victory dog bowl. Yeah. And then it happened. If only Nick Chubb just went down at the 1-yard line. Let's pick a card. I'm not ready to have like the waterworks just yet, Still have some time until Friday. But 8 of diamonds. I'll go with 8 of diamonds. Yeah, I deserve that. King of Hearts. King of Hearts. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you all next time.